here we will discuss about first we will discuss about the I hope you can all see it.
You might have to increase the font size itself.
Oh, this is for the presentation mode.
Press F5 mode.
Anyway, I will explain. First, we will go through installation, IIS and database, and how to configure Sitecore and the VisualStudio project. So, okay. So, first of all, I will when you download it. So when you can download Sitecore software from Sitecore site, and when you download it, you will get there is two type of software. One is a exe installation, other one is a zip package where you have the just the files. You have to do all configuration. If you get the exe one, it will run you through the installation process. Just you have to give the parameters like Windows installation. But most of the guys prefer this manual installation because it is very clear for. So and latest release of Sitecore is Sitecore 8 and update 2 that can be downloaded from the Sitecore dev.sitecore.net. And the Sitecore earlier versions like a 7.5 and down versions you can download from sdn.sitecore. This is for the latest versions from Sitecore 8, you can download it, and the older versions can be downloaded from sdn.sitecore. So when you download the here, and when you download the software, what you will see is this package, zip package. I have downloaded the latest one, and when you extract it, what you get is these three folders where website folder contains the content of for the IIS website, and database folder contains the databases, and data folder is for the logs and indexing those. So to configure this one, you have to, first we'll create configure it with IIS side. So here is the configuration. So we have to create IIS side. I have already created it, so I will explain execute Excel local, and for example, if we go to the settings. It is a new, normal way you for the site you give your site name, and the root path should point to the website folder that we already had. Here the website folder we had, it should point to that website, and then you can give a host name here and create the site that which I have already created. And for the app pool also, app pool is this one. We have created a new app pool for this one. And one thing to remember there is you need to give a permission for the identity user normally. So we have given the network service here, but if you have, you can create a user and give the permission. So that's it for the IA setting up part. Nothing much, the basic stuff. And then you need, if it is a local thing, you have to add the entry to the local path. So, and then we will go for the setting up the database. As you see, there were four databases. There were four databases: analytics, core, master, and session and web. We are not going to use the session database because it is used for the, say that you have two servers, content delivery servers, and then you need to synchronize the sessions. In that scenario only you use the session, so we will not use that one now. So here we have attached these four databases: core, master, web, and analytics. And other thing is we have given the permission to the IIS user, that is network service user, so admin role here. That means it has all the permission for those databases. Okay. So and so this is it. And also from Sitecore 7.2, they use MongoDB for their analytic data collection part, not for the normal operations like content editing. Those things they use normal SQL, MS SQL database. But for the data collection of analytics, they use MongoDB. But today we are not going to do that process, but it should be installed in your machine to.
So don't they have that Sitecore analytics database anymore?
No, they have, but they use it for the reporting purpose. I mean, generate the reports, because what they do is to speed up the collection process and those things. They collect the data using MongoDB, and from the background process, they migrate those analytic data to that old analytics database. So the reporting, that backend reporting like analytics, they still use the same reporting database. So here one thing is when you are using MongoDB, use lowercase letters. It is not a MongoDB recommendation, which it is, but we found it good to have it in lowercase, because otherwise MongoDB complain about if you have different cases in two places. It will, so, and when you install this one, you will you cannot just run it, because you will get an error saying license file is missing. So in that case, you need to copy your license file to a data folder. Okay, so to find, yeah. What I will do is, I have already configured, but I will remove it and show you what is the. It will contain the could not find the license file. Okay, so you need to copy the license file to your data folder. So how to find the data folder? So to find data folder, it is not always defined in the if it is a default installation, it is your webroot / data. But you need to, if you are if you are having an up and running version of site, you cannot say it is always this place. So find that, you need to go to open your web country, and you will find there is a setting. I will show it in the your web config. There should be a setting called sc variable and data folder. Here it should be defined. You can point it to any data folder you in your machine. So so here in my scenario it is the slash data, that means web root data folder. You have the data folder. You copy the license files there.
So apart from the license file, what else is stored in the data file?
Yeah, data file folder contains something things like indexes. Uh, Indexes and package installation. There is a concept called you migrate content from one Sitecore installation to another modules from a package. So that package folder contains those things. You and indexes, those things are there. But like versions like 7 point, yeah, one thing about now when you do install Sitecore 8, you need we found now we had this data folder here also outside. That is default place they give the data folder. You have to copy the content inside this one to that data folder. I mean your data folder. Otherwise you should configure it to this data folder as this one. Reason is that the question earlier from 7.5 and down the versions, or you don't have to copy these things because when you fire up the Sitecore first time, it will create these folders. Okay, but from Sitecore 8 onwards, because they have these tools, some tools where they run a content essay like taking screenshots by to test some content, and those type of tools are there. Okay, you so that is the reason you need to copy those data folder. So come to your question, there is packages and log files are written to this place, and indexes, Lucian index and so on you have defined different place, and those stuff are there. Tools, those tools contain those new with the Sitecore. So when you are so this is how it looks in by default installation with Sitecore. So now yeah. So one thing I already have done is you have to configure your connection history. We have now installed databases. We have to configure it. So I will show the configuration of connection history. Also, it is in app config connection history, and here you will have all the connection strings. There are connections to the core database, master, web, and analytics. Sorry, reporting. That is a reporting old MS SQL. Now it is called reporting connection history. All reporting, and all the analytics is now in MongoDB. So I have installed my MongoDB in my local server. So when you point it with this, it is watching this by default 27017. So when you point it will create those databases there. We don't have to create it. When the first request goes, MongoDB will create those databases. So that is after these connection strings are defined, you will be able to successfully see this page. So now we will go how to, I will also go through how to configure Visual Studio solution. So to work in your environment, you should have, because we use Visual Studio as the development tool. So what we have to do is, we just have to first create a blank new project. This is the easiest way. Just so with the ASP.NET web application, and here you can use your name. Solution we call it SVSL, and when you create it, and get a web response on. here we go to that place and copy these. We only need a CS project file and the properties. We copy these two. Into the web folder, and other file we need is a solutions file. So we copy outside the website. The reason for this one is the reason is for this one we need solution as a separate one is we can add more and more projects. It is not just only the Sitecore web project we have to run, because that project will only contain the most basic code, like for the sub layout you have the backend coding, those stuff. But more, I mean, if you have more logic part as backend code, you should move it to a separate. It's best to move it outside from your web project and to a default application, the DLL project. So yeah, it is. Here you can include whatever files you need into the project. So we have this web project also. Here you can add more projects like those any project you need, and point your build destination to bin folder of this one. So that's how you do it. And also another thing is we need to include the reference, as we need for now we only need the Sitecore kernel. That's it. So the project is, and so now we're going to log into the backend and see how it looks in when you log in as an administrator. So this is how it looks in with Sitecore 8. We log in, I will go through here, we configure this part, we solution and CS project file copy, created and copied it, and we add the reference to the kernel field. So now we are going to create Sitecore data, Sitecore items, since we have done with the configuration. Okay. This is how it looks when you log in, because from Sitecore 8 they have they have totally changed their look and feel with the new UI framework called Speak. Earlier they used a framework called Share UI, but now it is like a Windows 8. So you want, I can show you all the version.
The Sitecore desktop also changed?
Yeah, no, desktop is there, but their main entry point is now that it is called Launchpad, Sitecore Launchpad.
Content editor.
Those are there, but so this is the old from Sitecore 7.5 and down. This is the way you have this desktop and content editor and page editor. Login from here, you can log in. It is the content editor. So, but from Sitecore 8, it is totally changed to this one. And here you have all the controls like Sitecore desktop. You can just click there and you will get the desktop. There it is like a Windows desktop. You have all the same functionality, but good look and feel. And also content editor. So this is old one, 7, and this is the new one. So,
Still, are they using the Telerik controls for their own UIs?
Telerik library, I think so, but I'm not sure about that one.
Previously, they were using that. I remember because it got into some conflicts with our project because we were also using the Telerik
same one.
We needed different versions, but we couldn't because Sitecore was also depending on a certain version of Telerik.
Because I have seen it, but I'm not sure how they use it in front end. But one thing is that they are moved from earlier they used that sheer UI, but the framework, but they move it to the this what we call it Speak now. They called it SPEAK, Speak, and they are used Bootstrap and those libraries. And I haven't checked the Telerik library, so. Yeah, so all of you guys have any idea about content editor, desktop, and those things, or do we need to have a quick go through?
Guys are fine. They already know what tools are.
Okay. So
a high level, just a small summary.
Because we covered it, but earlier presentation. So I will only discuss 3 tools that use for development purposes. One is a content editor. That is where people like developers and most high level editors who have most experience come into this place, and they can use it to edit and the layouts and the content, site content. That is called content editor. And there is another tool we discussed, desktop, where you have all the controlling points like maintenance, package installation, security settings. All the access can be here. Also, content editor also you can access from this tool. This is called Sitecore desktop. It is normally editors doesn't come here, like people like developers or admins, and also the high level. I mean, like marketing editor, like super editors, you can say. They come here to give permission to other users like that. You can control every permission, which part should be displayed to a certain user role or like that. You can control it. So since I'm using login as admin, I can see everything. So let's see that one. And you have this experience editor. Earlier versions it has called page editor. Now they have renamed it to experience editor, and where this is normally used by the editors which doesn't have much experience. Experienced guys also use it because they can see where the content is edited in the same page, so that here you can just editor can just go there and edit it and save the content, so he knows where he is editing. So those are tools just high level. Right? So we move back to our here we are going to discuss the data creation part. Okay. So I will use this we'll just create a one data section called home page. So here this is what we are going to do. We are going to create a template first, so that data template in Sitecore. Okay, first I will explain what is a data template. It is a content type where you use for your page creation, or where you use it to display I mean front end content. You should have a template to create it. So this is the template is like content types where you create. First you need to create a template to create a page or any content. So here first we are going to create this template, which home page, and have only title and description, two fields. So first we need to, okay, first thing is I will delete this home node. Okay, since we are going to create a new one, and return error. If the return error, the item cannot be found. So now there is no main item in the site. So we go to the templates and we are going to create a new template. Okay, here we do it home page. We create a define and template is created. And here you can, in the builder tab, you can define uh, the field. Here first thing is this called section. You have to, you can, your fields goes into a section which is no I mean in API level or those content level it is no use. This is just to categorize your fields, I mean your fields, so it is easy for the editors to see this data is in the data content and workflow fields and the workflow section like that. So this is not your no need for API or access a field. So here we will create this title and description field. Title field is a single line text, and description field you have a lot of field types: state, box, date, time, and those. And also you can point to another item like link types, multi-list, and everything. So we use save. So you will see that in the tree, this called content tree, you will have all the fields also. So the in Sitecore field is also a Sitecore item. So that's how, so this is the main template. So and one thing I missed is you create your templates under template section. Okay, and then here we are going to create a data item using that template. So these data items are the ones that actually display to a front end website. Like for example, we can say the data templates are like virtual things when it comes to the front end website, because those are never displayed to a as a front end site, but the items created from those templates will only be displayed to the front end. So that should be created. We have under the Sitecore content. Under this one, we are going to insert from template, and we need to select the template that already created. And from name it home. So the item is created, and so the home item is there now. So what happened if we go to their displays, and so the same error you will get because it's now it says layout not found. So I will say the reason for this is now we have created the data items, but we haven't defined a way to how these data should be present to the website. How these title, description field should be visible to the front end side. So those are called presentation. So we need to define presentation components first. So first of all, we see these data. So now we have created the template and the date item. Now we are going to create a presentation item. So the first thing is we need to create a main layout for the site. The main layout is like a master page. It is like where you keep your whole design of your website, and yeah, I will come to that. So that is main layout. So in Sitecore it is called layout. So we go to the layouts are created inside layout item here. This one inside a layout. Here we can say layout, and there you can define where that item should be created in physical folder location. So what happens is when you create the item, Sitecore will automatically create the ASPX item that relates to this layout. So one thing I missed was that the layout is a ASPX file, simple ASPX file. So here you can see this is now in our layout, newly created layout, which points to the layouts sugsl.aspx. You can see the file. You see that file. So this is the layout file we will get. Simple ASPX file. And since we have the layout file layout created, we will go to the home item. That is the item we created. And we will try to assign this layout to the content we created. So that assignment is done by selecting the item, and you go to the presentation, and here you will see layout details. Here you can no layout is specified. You see. So what we are going to do is we are going to select our newly created layout for this one, and we click OK. And save. Since I'm logging to the container from a different browser, it redirects me to the page editor. So I will use a different browser. So here you will see insert your controls here, which is entered in here. So layout is now assigned, and the item is displayed when we visit the site. But there is no related content. I mean, we create the home item, but the title field are not there. We need to get them displayed in the front page. So what we gonna do is we need to add them to our layout. Here we have here what we do is these are the Sitecore controls which we can use to display the fields. So it's called SC text, and there are more, like if you want to display image, SC image, and like that. So here I just use simple text field, and over there you will see the field values which we enter to the home item. So to the home item. But what we what we did, we create a layout and attach it. But what is the concept? I said earlier, this is like a master page. What will happen here? But since we add our own fields into the layout, it will not I mean, it will not be a good thing because we cannot reuse the layout. Layout should be a reusable one. Normally in Sitecore, it is a single layout for one single site. You can use it for example, we use different layouts for depending on the device. For mobile device, you can use a different layout. For desktop and tablets, depending on the type. Also, if your site is say that you have two different sites where one site is total layout is totally different from the first one, then you can use layout. There is no restriction, but normally we use only one layout. So this what we did doesn't map to that one because so what we have to do, there is a concept called sub layouts, which is simply a user control in ASPX. What we're gonna do is we keep the layout as clean as it is. What you can for the layouts you can add meta tags, those common things into the layout, and we keep remove the things that change depending the item to sub layouts. Okay. So that we are going to do now. That is called sub layouts. We are going to create those sub layouts. Sub layouts comes under this node. It is in Sitecore layout, sub layout, and create a sub layout. Yeah, I also create it in Untitled layout folder. Okay. Now, when you create now, yes, this is a sub layout we created, and if we scroll here, you will see ASCX file location. It is actually pointed to the ASCX file. So the file should already create that by Sitecore. Here, the file is there. So here's the file. What we are going to do is we are going to display our title and the description fields into this one as sub layout and remove them from the layout here. So layout we should remove it. You remove it, and there should be a way to add this to a layout. I mean that newly created sub layout should be added. So that is for that we should create a thing called placeholders. So in Sitecore placeholders. So that now sub layout is created, and layout is we remove the fields from layout and define a placeholder here. So now we have to go again to our item, home item. And we again go to presentation detail, and here now layout is already there. We need to add a control. So those sub layouts are called controls. Go there and add this one. Here we need to do that placeholder. Yes, okay. You cannot see the difference. We'll add some content to our sub layout. So it is great. This is sub layout, and the fields are coming from the sub layout. So what we have done is we remove the main, changing things from the layout into a sub layout. So you can add any place. Is for example, I say the editor is another sub layout. Since we don't have another sub layout, I will add the same one. same content, but editors can change it. So it will not after we define our presentation for developers to define their presentation initially, then developers doesn't need to get involved in the site designing part. That is the main thing. So I will go a little bit quick since we have other one here. So we have done here, we create the template and item, we create the main layout and sub layout, and we also did the binding part also, presentation, bind the presentation to the data items. So now we okay, there is two ways to you can bind. One is called static binding, that is using this SC sub layout control. But here what this is normally you used to bind something like you have a sub layout to display meta content. In that case, editors doesn't change it. I mean, it is fixed. In that scenario, we can use this in the top in the layout directly. It's like copy this one and directly bind it, static binding. And what we did earlier was called dynamic bind, where we bind it from the content item. Okay. Now what we now say that now since we have a say that editor wants to create a new item, say another item. So normally this is not happen, but there is no two home items. I will create another home item since I have only one template. Now home two item is created, so I need to go and visit it. So for example, and say that I need to see the presentation details, how this is should be displayed in the page. So I will move it inside so we can see it on the page. Where it says no layout defined. So what happened was that now I'm in the home 2, and if I go to the home 2 detail, I see nothing because earlier I added, but this time you will see no layout there. The reason is because we added the layout details in the item level. That will be a very hard thing for the editor. Every time you create a new item, you have to define your layouts. So the best practice is to define these default things like layout settings, those kind of things in a template level. So initially I didn't describe it like that. So what we're gonna do is we gonna move these layout definitions to template level. Give me 1 minute. I can send you an email to Matthew and say give us 10 minutes. So now what we are going to do is move the default things to home item template. So here what you here that you define the default items way to define it. You go to the options. You will see in the options tab a standard value. When you click it, the Sitecore will create another item called in your template under home page template is underscore is standard value, and it will contain all the fields you had earlier. So this is called normally in our concept it is default values, where you define your default values. You can not only default values, default settings also you can define. And presentation detail also we define those controls from here. And now if you go to the home to item, and you will see those default items there, and if, also in the presentation detail, those items are there, so the editors doesn't need to recreate those basic default values again and again. So that is the use of standard values. And this is actually covered. I will skip this part because when you are doing your development, there I told you that there is 3 tools. One is one of those was a page editor or experience editor. Now they call it. So you should support the experience editor also. Say that if you define a new sub layout where you display an image and those things for the sidebar. So those should be also editable from the page editor. So to for example, you see I create here. Here, what you not accessing the field, I should be able to enter it here and save it. That is called page editor or experience editor supporting experience editor. Or here this field also I should be able to save it, and if you go to that item again, you will see it is actually edited from that side. So to support that one, when you are creating your one, you should use Sitecore controls instead of default ASP controls. So by default is support is there. So if you are going to define custom field type, which is possible, you should also consider it should be supported in the page editor mode also. So, and we have a quick look about the databases. Inside, as I told you, there is 4 databases. One is core database, first one, which contains this information about these tools, content editor, all the content about those tools, Sitecore desktop, launchpad, installed in the core database. And the master database is where content editors work. I mean, what we edited those are all stored in the master database. And web database is where the front end side looks for the data. When you visit the site, it should come. But you didn't see I publish it. The reason is that I just need to do it as to give first give an idea, and you didn't see that I'm publishing it, or I mean just when I edit it, it displays in the front page, front end side. What I actually did was I already changed some settings. Here there is a site definition for this one, and I have changed it to master database, but by default it should be web. So now I change it to web database, and when I come to this site, it should display me the old content. Here, this content, because this is a default, but we didn't do any publishing. So because this looks into the web database, but all the things we did earlier was looking into the master database. So what we should do is we should publish this. Yeah, after the publishing, it goes to the web database and it displays in the front end side. So, and reporting database is where you keep the analytic reporting and those stuff. And MongoDB is to collect the visitors data which they use, and they after using a backend process, they migrate this into the reporting database. So these are some resources I will share with you also. These are Sitecore PDF to build a simple website. And also there is a Sitecore site called Launch Sitecore, which they have built a site with the best practices they recommend. So you can download in Launch Sitecore site, you can download the package and install it on your own instance, and you can go through it and learn those stuff. how the Sitecore has done it. So that is the website.
So is it available with Sitecore 8?
Yeah, it is for every version they have created this site. I mean, for 8, 7.5, any version they have. So that's it for my presentation. I think it's time for the Matthew's presentation also. So I will